Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online's favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite is everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glenn, and of course, pandasups.com, discount code TDL. For all your protein products and all the good stuff you guys like and get to need. All right, so we are back with Friday Night Live. We're back. Missed last week, but Glenn had to watch Notre Dame beat the hell out of Indiana. So
Yeah. Thought it'd be the only win we'd get this weekend. I guess I was wrong. Yeah.
So you had to watch them beat the hell out of Indiana. So we're
Yeah.
back this week, getting ready for this game against the Saints, and of course we're going to talk about all the latest clips and stuff from the Raiders that has been happening around, because the Raiders always find a way to stay relevant in the drama. So we're gonna be talking about all that good stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be the show today, and of course we can get you over unders for the game against the Saints. So Glenn, how are you feeling, man? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I know there's a lot of, I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but there's a lot of fans that were mad about beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I hate to break it to you guys, the Raiders were better than the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just are. I mean, as constructed. And I mean, if Trevor Lawrence is healthy, maybe not. But as constructed, that was a bad team. And it just sucks that they're I don't hate that win as much as I hate the fact that 3-12 gets you the 6th pick. That's a weird. The AFC is, other than the New York Giants, the AFC's clogging up the top of the draft. I mean, it is wild, and it's just also just not the year to be 3-12. Really, I mean, we're going to talk about this. It's just it's really not. It's just the top of this class has blue chip players. I don't know that it's the quarterback position. So it was kind of fun watching them close out a game. It's been kind of fun watching Chase come out and really dominate frankly, he looks like the best player on the Raiders defense right now. And they kept feeding Bowers and Aiden O'Connell making plays with his legs. I know people want to lose, but all right, they've won 3 games. That was our first win since September.
Yeah. First win since September, bros. Awfully long time. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, I know some fans are really upset about it. I mean, they just, there's mad tweets, people talking about, you're an idiot if you like if you like this win, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Why would you want this win? Yada, yada, yada. But then you hear like Brock Bowers, the CBS interview after the game. He's like, oh my God, this is like, I'm so happy right now. I was so nervous when they had the ball left. And oh man, I'm just so happy right now that we got this win. It just feels so good. And that's what I'm saying. Like fans aren't players. So I think that's like a big disconnect, I feel like sometimes with fans, especially Raiders fans. They feel like they're on the field. And
and Madden weird. And it's like a Madden thing where there's this detached, it's like they feel like they're part of the team, but it's kind of this detached thing. Like losing sucks. Like to tank in the NFL, like look, you see NBA teams do it all the time. They buy out all the bad contracts, go on their team to free up cap space. You tank for, right now people are tanking for this Duke kid in basketball. You can do it. One thing you got to do is probably tell your coach that he's safe for the most part. You're tanking for a large percentage of your roster with that top pick. Like that guy's going to be a huge part of your team. In the NFL, guys get hurt, man. Like guys get hurt when they I forget who. Well, I think Steve Young was talking about that. Like being on a bad team, especially when you're out of it, it's really dangerous. Like you will get hurt. There's guys that just like don't try as hard, or maybe don't practice as much, and guys miss assignments, and you get hurt. And this is a gladiator sport. And look, they still almost lost that game. Like it wasn't like they blew them out. And it was a bad team. It was a bad team. It's a bad team that's probably not drafting the quarterback, luckily. So if you're still on the quarterback or nothing train in the first round, that team's not drafting one. So you're still really have, other than the Titans, which they play the Jaguars this week. So who knows what's going to happen there. It's just, like I said, losing sucks, and losing like a lot of games in a row is really not good for anybody. I don't know what, like, it might net you a quarterback, and a lot of Raider fans are like, well, I don't care. I need to have the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I get it. I'm not saying there's nothing there, but you are creating a miserable situation for that young quarterback. You're going to ask them to be the Messiah. You see what's happening with Caleb Williams right now. Some of that's his fault. Some of that's also just everybody needs him to be the Messiah, and he's kind of not. And I would much rather have a quarterback come to a team that's playing kind of well, or at least has some kind of momentum going into
Yeah.
it's just you look at the top teams in the league. You have Philly, Baltimore, I guess you could say Pittsburgh, but like Kansas City. A lot of these quarterbacks weren't taken with the first overall pick. A lot of these quarterbacks that are taken. Now they traded up. Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, guys trade up, but these were most of the time pretty good teams that went and found their guy that fits what they do with a roster that's already kind of good. That's the teams you see contending year in and year out. The Joe Burrow and CJ Stroud guys come in and change franchises. I get it.
Yeah.
Even then, CJ Stroud, he's like, he got dubbed the Messiah, and look what happens. It's like, man, you put a lot of pressure on these guys, and we've already seen that fail in 2007, right? It's not a guarantee. It's just not a guarantee. So people, if you're just like, we screwed up because we lost, you could say that more last year.
Mm-hmm.
Hindsight thing is like, they should have kept Antonio Pierce, or Josh McDaniels, and just said, screw it. Kind of coached in the offseason. That would have saved us a lot of problems, apparently. As weird as that sounded. This year's just not the year to do it, I don't think.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with where these quarterbacks go. Because when I was on Instant Reaction, I was telling people like, we don't know, even if they're at 6, if there might be a quarterback there, and people were saying like the Titans and the Browns were taking a quarterback. Like, to me, those are not for sure things. Mm-hmm. The Titans. I saw somebody talk about this where Deshaun Watson just restructured his contract. They had 2 more void years. So since they restructured his contract, we don't know if they're going to take a quarterback. So I think there's a lot of mystery too to the draft. I mean, yeah, it's really early. People want to act like the draft is already over, and
exactly.
Like the draft's in January 31st, and no, there's still the Senior Bowl, there's still the East-West Shrine Game, there's still the Combine, there's still all the visits, there's still all the the talk about it, what the scouts feel, what yada yada yada, and then the coaches get involved later on, and but like after free agency or around the Combine, the coaches start deep diving into these players and have a decision on what they want to do. So that's the thing. It's not just so black and white where it's like, yeah, if the Raiders pick a 6, they're not getting a quarterback. I 100% just don't believe that. You know what I mean? Like I just don't see, there might be a chance that, Cam Ward falls. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is going to fall just because like the buzz is around him and he's dad, you know what I mean? But there is a chance that like if the Raiders don't pick at like what 2, right, or 3, which everybody wants because they'll freak out. I still think there's a chance that they could get a quarterback because like the teams in front of them that are bad, they don't need. It's not an ultimate need of what. They need to build their football teams around, like, because you don't know, like, Will Levis got benched, right? And that's a big reason why people think the Titans get drafted quarterback. Do they give Will Levis another chance? I mean, Bryce Young looked a lot better this year. Those things could happen, so it is interesting. But people were just so upset after that win. It's crazy.
There's a lot of stuff that no one knows where Aaron Rodgers is playing next year. There's a lot of. To me, I've been saying it all year. I could see Aaron Rodgers going to the Tennessee Titans. I could see him going to like a team like that and kind of just falling back into the shadows, out of the spotlight a little bit. Granted, the spotlight will follow him there. It's just the way it goes. But, there's a lot of these. There's always going to be a surprise quarterback that gets traded. I could see a quarterback like Geno Smith getting traded or them moving on from him if they don't make the playoffs. There's a lot. Not saying any of these guys are the answer for the Raiders. I just mean we don't know. We don't know who's coaching the Raiders next year.
Yeah,
that's the real thing. We don't know their philosophy for next year. We don't know exactly what they're gonna. It's just there's so much happening here. And last year was a wild year for quarterbacks. I don't know that that's going to become the norm. I don't know that you're going to see 6 go in the top 12 very often. It's just not the case most of the time. You're going to see more concentrated at the top 1 and 2, and then usually a big gap. That's like typically what you see a lot of times. And you see another guy outside the top 10, another guy back in the first round, and then you start getting to the day 2 and 3 guys. I think you're going to see a little bit more of that this year. And the Raiders just like, to me, I hate this. Like, somebody please come save us. 22-year-old player, come save us. No, it starts from the top down. Like, if you think they're a poorly run organization, what do you think one player is going to do? I'm sorry. It's just, people tell you, but Stroud looked immortal his rookie year. He looks terrible this year, to be honest. Like, I keep pointing to guys like that. Trevor Lawrence goes to Jacksonville. Did he save them? Like, they're a bad organization. And the Raiders right now are that type of organization. I hate to say it. You're going to have to, they can't take the shortcuts. Everybody wants them to take that shortcut of one guy comes in and saves everything. Maybe that guy is at the top. At the top, I would believe that. I hope to God it's Tom Brady. I don't know if it is, but that's where it's going to have to come from.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up Trevor Lawrence, with the Jags, and he got the Jags to the playoffs, and they've been 9-8 a couple times, but I mean, he struggled to win there too, right? I mean, he hasn't been able to lift them up. I mean, they're struggling this year, even before he got hurt. They weren't a winning team, right? I mean, I don't know what the record was before he got hurt, but it wasn't a good record,
no,
right? So. And he was struggling this year, right? And we talk about him, all the people they put around him, and the guys. People act like Zay Jones and Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Travis Etienne, and then drafting Brian Thomas Jr.
Right.
None of that has came to fruition where he is like balling. Like where he is just a superstar, and he's only really had he had an 8-week run in 2022.
It was when they came back against the Chargers in the playoffs. He was great.
Yeah. He had the 8-year run. He had a little 8-week run. He has been consistent like that ever since. So I mean, you're right. You got to have the right infrastructure on the quarterback to make sure that they can kind of be in that position where they are built to win. I do think offensively, I think the Raiders offense has some of those players because I think the young offensive line and things like that. But we'll see. I mean, it's just going to be super interesting because they play the Saints this week. The Saints are playing Derek Carr. Derek Carr is probably out for the rest of the year now because
he's out.
I don't see why he played week 18. That'd be
no, stupid. He's not playing, and Kamara's not playing, which is very interesting.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like both those guys are playing. They didn't score a point last week.
Yeah, they were bad.
And I'm not saying the Packers defense is amazing, but they didn't score a point last week, right?
No.
I mean, the Raiders haven't been playing the best quarterbacks in the world. They gave up 14 points last week. They gave up 15 points the week before. I forgot who did they play the previous week.
I know they played the Rams recently and lost. They played they've been bad. I mean, they played the Giants and beat them. I remember they beat the Giants.
Yeah. So some of those teams are just that the Raiders are playing right now aren't very good. So there is a chance that they could fall to a lower draft pick. So it's just the world that the Raiders are in right now.
And good teams don't worry about that. That's what I hate. Is like good teams don't worry about picking 6th or 12th. Like they take what comes to them. They move up and down if they need to, and you trust your GM. Right now, we're hoping we flip the coin and it lands correctly, and that's what I hate. Right now, it's like hopefully all the stars align and Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders comes in here, changes the entire organization. And I blame the media for a lot of that. The media pretends that happens all the time, and it really doesn't. I'm sorry. Like, it just doesn't. I mean, even the Joe Burrow-led Bengals, like, it's kind of revisionist how bad they were before he got there. They were bad before Andy Dalton and AJ Green got there, and, kind of, I mean, like, they had like they've had a decent little, like, okay kind of nucleus and core and stuff. They weren't like this desolate franchise. They were just picking that one year because they were in between quarterbacks and they lost a lot.
Yeah.
There's so many of these. I don't know. To me, I think we're in for a world of hurt as Raider fans. And I guarantee the people that are quarterback essentialists, like we have to get the first pick or else it's a failure, and it has to be a quarterback or else it's a failure. Those are the people who are going to have the least amount of patience with the quarterback and the new coach. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be the one that's either turns on the quarterback real fast and goes, we're done, ship him out of here, bust, or they're going, whatever coach comes in, they're going to want to fire him every single year.
Yeah.
And then guess what that does? That creates a bad situation for your quarterback too. It's like you need continuity. And I just want to see the semblance of a good organization. Resemblance of a good organization is what I want to start seeing. I thought they drafted some good players, but they still don't look well run right now. And I'm still a little, about bringing anybody in here right now, like even a veteran. I'm like, are they going to be good when they come in? It's not a good spot to be in.
Yeah, it's not, man, because they got to decide what they're going to do with the head coach, which we're going to talk about all these. We're going to talk about Max Crosby. I see a lot of questions on Max Crosby already, so we're talking about Max Crosby
naturally,
naturally, right? And then you don't know who their head coach is going to be, which is a huge factor in the offense, right? And where do they go? Do they go offense? Do they go defense? How's that going to sway into who they pick? Early on in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Do they win this game this week? What does that really mean? You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Like the Raiders finished like 4-13. Let's say they finished 4-13 right? This game this week. They'll be picking like 8. Like Washington was 4-13 last year and picked a 2.
Exactly. I'm like, they did the exact same thing. It's just, but again, it's kind of reflective of the classes too. Like I will say, at least it's not a year like last year with quarterback classes. It's kind of like, I'll put it to you this way, guys, and nobody's going to believe me. This comment section is a little more educated than what I see on Twitter. Thank the Lord.
For sure.
But for like Raiders Twitter fandom and stuff, I think they might even do themselves a favor by not getting the 1 or 2 pick. Is all I'm saying. Like they might they might save themselves from something that I think is like a oh man, like I said, Shedeur Sanders number 1, and then maybe he comes in and he's not really the number 1 overall type pick, because I think he's more of an Alex Smith type quarterback. That's just to me is what I think he is. Alex Smith, maybe a little Burrow to him, but like Burrow being the upside, Smith being the realistic comp, and then Floor being just like a kind of check downy kind of, league average quarterback that is that you're taking that at 1 overall is what I'm saying, whereas if you're picking at 6, you're like, wow, we have Abdul Carter. Or guy that I feel way more confident about that is good. That 3 years from now, I go, man, I'm glad we took him there. Just like Brock Bowers last year, where people seem to be disgruntled by that. We don't need him. It's like he's the only threat on the team right now that can take the ball, from the line of scrimmage to the house.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. Like, I think people are dead set on getting a quarterback. Right? They're just dead set on it. I mean,
they want to win workplace arguments. That's what I mean. Like a lot of these people want to be like, they're tired of getting beat down by other teams' fan bases, and it sucks. And they want to go, well, who's your quarterback? Gardner Minshew. I get it. It's not a fun place to be, but having a bust on your team. Look at Daniel Jones. Look at all these other teams that have these bust type quarterbacks. I mean, Bryce Young, resilient as hell because it was looking ugly for a second, but it's the number 1 pick it felt like a little bit of a curse, like a Madden type curse recently.
Yeah. It's been, I don't know. It's hard picking a quarterback because you got to make sure that you have the right system around him. You got to evaluate him,
play him the right time. You have to make sure you play him when he's ready,
and you got to make sure he's in the right headspace. People are getting mad at Kirk Herbstreit because he's brought up Caleb Williams doesn't study that much. But that's the thing. Like you got to make sure the guy's in the right headspace. He's doing the right things. He's coming to work. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the type of things you got to worry about. Not sure I don't worry about that too much with Shedeur Sanders because I'm sure Dion wouldn't let him just kind of slack. But those are some of the things you got to worry about at quarterback. It's just not really their talent. Anyways,
and what sucks is that coaches don't get enough time to develop these guys. Really, is what we are a fire your coach if you're not a playoff team. If you don't make the playoffs, you fire your coach. That's like most fan bases want it every single year. It's very strange, but they want it every. This is not a defense of Antonio Pierce or anything. I just mean in general. There's people, your team's 7-10, fire them. It's like, well, all right, hold on, let them build some continuity, and they won't rush a rookie quarterback out as fast if they know they're going to be back the next year. They're going to actually develop this guy, and now they're like, oh wait, I'm on the hot seat. Play the rookie. And then, they're going to get him killed. That's always, it's just this, I hate being in that situation, man. Like, and people think I'm scared of taking one. I got killed on Twitter over it. Like I just said, guys, I just don't, I watch Sanders and Ward. I've had some time to watch them, and I'm just, I watched Jaden Daniels last year. I was like, I got to have this guy. When I watched Drake May, I was like, that is something I'm betting on. Caleb, I had my issues with, and it looks like those are coming to light. But, I was like, man, those are guys that I'm just like, no matter what, I'd sprint the card in. I'm with Ward and Sanders. I'm kind of like,
yeah.
I need there's a lot of ifs that I need done with those,
Yeah, I'm a bigger Cam Ward fan than Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders scares me a little bit, but you know, I still think if the Raiders have the chance to draft him, they're going to do it. So
I think so too, and I think at 6 it could easily happen.
yeah, it could. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, what I was talking about in this reaction, like the combine hasn't happened.
Exactly. And all of these guys are going to Shedeur Sanders is going to play a bowl game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, people don't even realize that this year. Like, this is such a wide open year that guys aren't even opting out of bowl games like that, dude. Like, they are playing. Like, if Shedeur Sanders lights up BYU in a bowl game, like, that actually helps his draft stock. It actually, the reward is bigger than the risk of playing. Whereas in years past, guys were like, man, I'm not playing in this damn game. I'm not playing in the damn Pop-Tart Bowl. I'm not doing this. And and like you said, the combine, they're all going to throw at the combine, unless Cam Ward gets told something, which I think would be false if he got told something that he was going guaranteed number 1 overall. I don't think that's true at this point. It's just my guess at that. We're going to see an overload of these guys throwing the ball around in the next couple of months, more than you've seen in years past.
I think so too, because Sanders is not even going to the Senior Bowl; he's going to the East-West Shrine Game.
Crazy.
Which I was telling my brother about that. He's like, why would he do that? I'm like, I don't know. He probably wants to play with undrafted guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly have no clue why he's doing that, but that's do you?
I don't know either.
Do you? Yeah.
I mean, it's not the top competition. People like to hype up the East-West Shrine Game and try to make it like bigger because they know the guy who runs it from Twitter, the draft Twitter days back in the day. So they like it. They want to support him. But yeah, it's not like the Senior Bowl has first rounders and second rounders there, and third rounders. The East-West Shrine Game has like fifth rounders and sixth rounders and seventh rounders and undrafted guys. It's just the way it is. It's not. There's no way around it. You can't even try to flip it and try to be like, yo, no, they're getting no, it doesn't happen that way. You can go to the East-West Shrine Game last year, and Matt went a couple years ago. Like, none of those guys get drafted high. Like, they don't have any big time quarterbacks there. So
maybe he gets to play longer. Maybe,
I don't know. Maybe he's going with his friends.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe he gets to play longer. Like, they'll just let him play the first half as opposed to, a quarter at a time or something, or 2 series, whatever you get at this with the Senior Bowl. I don't know. But I know these guys aren't in a position to forego pre-draft stuff because they will hurt their stock if that happens.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We had a lot of questions today, man. They're bombarding us with questions.
Well, most of them about Max. Which
I guess we'll get into that next in a second. So we're gonna talk about Max Crosby upset, draft position. Does AP survive? Saints preview, Raiders odds and bets, next NFL Week 17 bets, and of course we got the college football playoffs this weekend, guys. That's a big thing, Well, not even this weekend. I know the games were on Wednesday. I'm like, damn, they're making me wait till Wednesday to watch it.
And then they put a Thursday 1st game, and still a 6-3 Thursday game. Like, what? Crazy. Yeah. 3 games on Saturday.
6-3, man. That was a terrible game to watch.
Terrible.
It was just awful.
Yeah.
Man, I just didn't get that one at all. The Christmas games were awful too, man. The Texans put 2 points up.
Yeah, no, it was bad. The Chiefs game wasn't very good either. I mean, it was good for longer than the Texans game was, but yeah. Ooh.
Man, it was bad. All right, so let's get into Max Crosby because everybody's asking, what do you think about Max Crosby's comments on this podcast? I see there's a question about it. Everybody's asking about Max. Y'all trading Max for a haul is a real possibility. Is there the path to trade Crosby and line up for Manning or Aller is possible? I mean, that would be crazy. But so let's talk about Max, because Max, I didn't fully see his comments, so I guess Glen, maybe you could sum it up for me better, because I didn't watch it, but I just saw people reacting to it, and I guess he sounded disgruntled, with how the Raiders are, right? That he wants to be on a winner. I guess if that was the sum of his.
He brought up one thing he brought up more so than anything was guaranteed money. He wants to be paid. But he also wants the organization to be better, which I'm fine with both of those things too. We should pay him and the organization should be better. One thing that he said too was that he liked continuity. And this is another thing about like tanking and constant player movement. Players hate that. And Max brought up a good comment. He's like, I'll see a D-line that we had, or I'll be like, damn, this D-line unit is raw, and then half the guys aren't back next year. Which that didn't happen this year, so I don't know what he's talking about. This year they brought everybody back on defense, so they're all hurt, but I don't get. But in years past, he's kind of right? Like he was just like, okay, we had this guy, this guy, this guy. Next year we get these guys together. I work with them all off season. I know these guys. There's such a human element to the game that a lot of fans don't understand, and he was just saying that was a problem. I'll say this: he just had season-ending surgery. The Raiders suck, and he hasn't been paid an extension yet. He's probably a little mad. Okay, I think we're all mad. We're all a little bit mad. I don't think he's asking for a trade right now. If it's going to get interesting who's coaching this team, it's going to be interesting the philosophy of the person that comes in coaching this team, because there is a case to be made for trading Max Crosby right now.
Yeah.
So that's that. I don't know that he's outright asking for it by those comments. I watched them.
So he wants to be paid, basically.
He did say, he goes, and I don't have any guaranteed money on my contract yet. He said that. I said, that's it. That's what it is.
That's all he wants then, right?
So he's basically saying, if there's no continuity here, then all this stuff, like, what am I doing here at this point? So and guess what? What phone call he wants to hear is from Tom Telesco saying, hey, we want you here for the next 5 years. And then, provide. But I don't know that the Raiders exactly know what they're doing in this offseason yet. And everybody is pointing to you wanted AP. Like that's the big thing. You asked for this guy to be your coach. That is correct. He did. Made a pretty big scene about it. And that's fine. And you're not going to hear, there's still a season to be played. It's not like he's going to be like, yeah, no, we fucked up hiring AP. He's not going to say that. They're still on the team. Like AP is still technically the coach. He's not going to come out and say that. I bet he's feeling that a little bit though.
Yeah.
And I think he realized halfway through is like, this guy, Max Crosby's friends with like half the players in the league. He's a very respected player in the league. He talks to guys from organizations that are run well, right? TJ Watt, guys like that come from the Steelers or places like that. He's seen where the grass is greener. And I think he just wants the same thing. It sucks losing. This is my problem with tanking. There are always casualties when you tank. Even if there is this savior coming on the way, you lose guys like perhaps Crosby or other guys. Like they don't like losing this much.
Yeah. I mean, people in the comments, I mean, they're ready to get rid of Max, man.
Well, there is a case to be made though.
I personally, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so tell me why you would not get rid of Max Crosby. I'll tell you why. Not that I believe it, but I'll tell you what the case is for it.
Because when Christian Wilkins was playing, he had 6 sacks 7 sacks, 6 sacks in 5 weeks. Okay, so he had 1.5 after that. Right.
Okay.
And that's the big thing. So we're talking about what his impact on this team is. I mean, he's still the best deep run defender, defensive end in the league. It's still that's still the truth, right? And I think from not having much help and him getting like triple teamed, and I mean, it's crazy watching film, him getting triple teamed and all these things. I think it played a big factor into how his performance overall, right? And I think, Chason and them came on a little bit later, but Chason was, he didn't come in for a little bit. But I still think, like, when you pay Christian Wilkins, right, you paid Christian Wilkins to take heat off of Max Crosby.
Right.
The first 5 weeks, that led to 6 sacks. Because he had 6 sacks in the first week. Like, we can talk about, like, he's not worth it. He's having a down season. But if Christian Wilkins plays the whole season and he stays on that pace, that's like 18 sacks. Right. So you have to think about that, because if you trade Max Crosby and you're like, we have to draft a quarterback, that changes everything, in my opinion. That changes the whole dynamic.
How does it change everything?
Because you got to replace him. Like, who do you replace him with?
Well, okay. When you say replace him with, do I have to replace him if I'm clearly rebuilding, I'm drafting a quarterback, right? I draft a quarterback with the top pick. Let's just assuming they trade Max Crosby, get an extra first round pick with their top pick, though, their own. They draft a quarterback. You're not exactly worried about how do I contend defensively year one. You've already set the clock back, right? When you do that, essentially, like you have basically said, I don't need all pro defensive end Max Crosby replaced year one. That I don't know that you're doing. What you would do, though, in that sense, let's say you do trade Max Crosby. There is a case to be made. Is he going to be healthier?
Yeah.
Because every year it's not his own fault. I don't know why. I still don't understand why he plays 100% of snaps. I don't care who's on the roster. Double team, triple team should not be playing 100% of snaps. No defensive player should. It's ridiculous. No defensive lineman should, I should say. But he's got a lot of mileage on him. If you had a team like Detroit, if you had a team like, I don't know, even the Bears, maybe the Bears get like crazy desperate or something, or like when some of these teams just go, I'll give you 2 first-round picks for him and pay him, and you get 2 extra draft picks, and you're not getting the quarterback this year. Let's just say like, I don't even love the quarterback class this year, and we go draft Abdul Carter, right? Let's say they do replace him, or at least attempt to, with a top defensive draft pick. Then the next 2 years, you have ammo to get whatever quarterback you want, really, at that point. And that's the case to be made. And here's why I'm not necessarily for that. One, like you said, even good pass rushing defensive ends aren't great run defenders all the time. And Max does it. He does it both. He does both. And I'd love to just get to a scenario where he's not double teamed every play, or if he is double teamed, the team pays for it. What I'd rather do is get a Mason Graham in there if they're out on quarterback and just go Wilkins, Graham, Kuntz, Chase on, Max Crosby, maybe find a deal for Tyree Wilson to go somewhere else or something, or keep him. I mean, doesn't bother you to keep him either. But you have that as your thing. You all of a sudden have a great defensive line, and maybe you do sign a Sam Darnold, which I'm not as opposed to as everybody else seems to be. Maybe you do that. I'd rather go that route. When players, I didn't think he wanted out. I think he's just pissed off. And I'm like, well, if you're pissed off at home, guy drinking beer, me, if you're pissed off at home, how is he not pissed off? He's getting an operation done and watching, he watched a win last week, but like he's tweeting during the game, like getting excited about his guys getting like sacks and stuff. Like he's still into it, man. People just turn on these guys so fast because we have this Messiah like savior mentality because we're so thirsty for everything, where any good player needs to be out of this world good and save the franchise, or else they're not worth being here anymore. And you're like, that's not how this works. That's not how football works. So yeah. I would pay him. My solution, I would pay him. You have money to do it. It's not going to hurt you to do it. It won't hamper you from making any other moves to extend Max Crosby. He deserves to make that money. I'd immediately up his pay, lower his snaps. As weird as that sounds, that's what I would do.
Yeah. I would pay him. I would just pay him. That's what I would do.
But I get the case. I get the case to be made, because what if he tears his ACL next year? Then you're just like, no, I'm not. It's a real thing that can happen. Yeah. Look at Nick Bosa. There are a few Niner fans. They suck without Nick Bosa. However, every year they have to dedicate so much money to him for him to come out all the time, And maybe Max is at that point in his career, and maybe he has that annoying season that Raider fans are used to. Khalil Mack, the first year with the Bears, how could the Raiders let him go? Josh Jacobs right now, how could the Raiders let him go? Those are better teams. Yeah, those are better teams. Those are the teams that did the thing that I want the Raiders to do, where they can just go grab a great player from some shitty team and have them go to work in a scheme that's already working. And we're just not there right now. We're asking Max to take on triple teams, take on 900 pounds of offensive line and throw them into the quarterback. That's what we ask him to do. And then we're going to ask a young quarterback to come in and do the same thing on offense.
Yeah, because, I was looking at people comparing TJ Watt, and I was looking at some of these stats. And I mean, they basically have the same win rate. TJ Watt. TJ Watt just has more, I guess he's more of a playmaker.
No, and hey, that's fair too. Like, to me, the Raiders lack that at all levels of their field. Like, people just don't catch the interceptions. I don't know what it is that the fumbles don't bounce to them. Last week was different, but the fumbles don't bounce to them. And then I see one comment in there, because he said can you click on shortest wide receivers comment, the 100% pay Max Crosby one, because I like this comment.
Yeah.
Basically, he says you 100% pay Max Crosby, but this shit about, quote, I need a plan. Like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Last time this is his words, not mine. Last time we let you in on the plan, we ended up with AP. I agree. Don't let him in. I think if Max sees that there's a plan, he doesn't give his input. The problem was last year is that all these players got listened to. Who's in the front office going, all right, guys, rush the passer. I got this. That's what GMs do. Like, I'll put it this way. You don't hear about this on good teams. You don't hear about Roquan Smith on the Ravens saying, we need to go get this guy. And if he does, maybe they do it, but it's not like, trade me if we don't get this guy. and don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Pay him. Shut him up. Play him 70% of the snaps. Go hire a good coach. That's literally what I would do in the offseason. It's easier said than done, apparently, but I hate this idea that like we just need to get rid of him because we stink right now. Like we just get rid of him because we suck, and that's that PFF mentality. If you're not contending, sell everything and draft. Nah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just hard. I don't know. I just can't. I just don't feel good trading a player like that.
He's 27, dude. I thought he was older.
I just wouldn't feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't feel good about it. Just because and I know the impact that he has, and it's and Max does have. He has. I was looking at PFF, might be wrong, but it's just 67 career sacks. So PFF rounds up. So I see somebody doesn't have 60 career, but he has 67. I think he has like the most in like the first 4 or 5 seasons. I mean, he's only played since 2019. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and he's 27.
Yeah, TJ Watt and them. I don't know what TJ Watt came in, but I think it was before that because the Raiders. I don't know. I forgot what TJ Watt came in. I can look that up. But he's still a top 5 defensive end in my opinion. That's basically what I'm trying to point out. Right? He's still top 5. You could say he's not Myles Garrett. I'm like, who's Myles Garrett really? I mean, Myles Garrett just doesn't even play as many snaps as Watt or Crosby and gets like 15 sacks.
Maybe Crosby could be Myles Garrett if he had an actual reserve energy tank that he was able to tap into instead of being heroically just bloodied in battle every game, playing 100% of snaps. And the thing that drives me nuts about AP, it's hard to get him off the field. No, it's not. You're the coach. It's literally not. You can just tell him you're not playing this snap. You've never yelled at somebody as a linebacker before and told him to get the hell off the field. You've never done this before. Like that to me is one of the biggest AP red flag. Oh, we just can't keep him down. Yeah, you can. So what? Like, what he's going to get a 12-man penalty from being out there because you won't come off the field. Like, come on. Yeah. Like, just that's the plan to me. Is I sit Max Crosby down and say, you're playing this amount of snaps this year. That's my plan. We're hiring this guy as head coach. We're doing this and that. Here's your contract. Do you want it, or do you want to find a trade partner? I bet you he takes the trade, or I bet you he takes the contract. I bet you he does. I don't think he wants out.
I mean, of course he take the money because he's honestly he is underpaid. I mean, he gets paid less than Rashawn Gary. Mm-hmm. And we talk about everybody's talking about TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. I mean, we're comparing. That's the thing. We're comparing him to the two best defensive ends in football. You know what I mean?
And it's not that they have.
He's no Michael Parsons. You know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah, and it's not that they don't have money. It's not like they're like, Max, we have so much money tied up in all these assets and we're a contending team. It's like, no, you guys stink and you have over 100 million in cap space. Like, you can pay the guy who's good.
Galactic, he's funny, man. He's like, Gary is better. He's trolling us about this.
Yeah, that's why I got a question when I said we were doing this episode tonight. Somebody was saying, like, can you guys, like, I mean, it won't be me, but like, you guys break down Max? It looks like all he does is freelance out there, and it's kind of, which I can kind of understand a little bit, but
yeah, BD said that too. BD said that,
and he probably is. I just mean they stink though, so I think he's just literally trying to make a play, like he's trying to make a game-changing play all the time because that's what it takes. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like, to me, we're not quite there yet, and people would make the argument, well, if you wait another year and he has another injury, is the bag that you get for him worth it? And to me, it's a risk I take. I keep him.
Yeah, I would do it. I mean, just me personally, I don't know. I just hate having the Raiders not losing, because whatever you think about Max Crosby, I know people were, like I said, they were comparing him to Michael Parsons, the best defense in the league. He's still elite.
Yeah.
So at the end, I mean, they put 3 guys on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's bad. But as I'm saying, like, Dark Side, has he led the leagues in sacks 1 year? I still think if Christian Wilkins plays the whole year, he might have.
Right.
He might have.
And that's the case to get a Mason Graham in the draft, I think. And like I said, I even say, you know what, Abdul Carter, I think, is the best player in the draft right now. You just go get him and just figure it out. You're like, okay, I got Abdul Carter, Max Crosby, K'Lavon Chaisson, Malcolm Kuntz. Tyree Wilson becomes expendable at that point, and then the rest of it is like, you can never have too many pass rushers. You make the case that Max doesn't have to play nearly as much, and he's probably more impactful that way. And you could I don't know. I just, to me, I'll say this though. Do you think the coach they bring in matters in terms of do they keep Max? Let's say they bring in a young offensive mind, the Wes Phillips, Liam Cohen. If they go that route, this kind of unproven, and that guy goes, well, I'm an offensive minded head coach. I don't love what's on this offense right now, or at least I'd like some more. And I think, do you think they trade him then? Because if they bring in a defensive-minded head coach, there's no defensive-minded head coach to be like, yeah, get rid of that guy, please, while I'm taking this job. That's not going to happen. Terrell Austin, Mike Vrabel, those guys aren't going to be like, yeah, let's get first order of business, get rid of the best player. Like they're not going to do that. But maybe an offensive-minded one. Do you think that matters at all?
Yeah, I think it matters a little bit. Not really in my opinion. It depends, because I was thinking about while you're saying that question, my mind started going to some different places. Like, who are we trading him for? Like, I mean, if they trade him for like Matthew Stafford or something, then
it's not a player to player. You're going to do it for picks. You're going to do.
I'm just saying, like, that's what we're doing. Like, because the Rams, how much they love Stafford, and Sean McVay or whatever. I'm just saying it would have to be for them to trade Max Crosby. In my opinion, it had to be something. They'd have to get something big in return. It would have to be a team that's picking high. So like the Patriots.
True.
Right? Like, and we'll take your first round pick because they'll take Max Crosby. You don't have it. They'll take him over there. They got Drake May. They got he's playing pretty well. Maybe Gerard Mayo's playing. He's a defensive guy. Mm-hmm. It have to be somebody like that, or like the Patriots, or some team where the Raiders are picking high, and they have to bring something where they can do something with it. Like, because even with the Khalil Mack trade, even though they didn't do shit with it, they still had a lot of assets to do something with. They just didn't do anything with them. So
yeah, I don't think that was a bad trade, to be honest. Like I like, it sucked at the time. Obviously, the day it happened, I was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" But like, you look at the player, they could have had Jeffrey Simmons with those picks. There were a lot of players to replace Mack with.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson. They drafted Damon Arnett. They drafted, they drafted ass is what happened. And we don't need to play that. We don't need to play that number anymore on the jukebox. We all know it. But I just mean, people look at the results of it to say whether it was a good trade or not. It's like, well, I'll say this. That's another reason why I don't necessarily want to trade Max Crosby, even though I like what Telesco did. It's like the Raiders aren't this like draft wizard team that just pulls out, random guys from here and there in the draft, and just Max was probably the last time that did happen was the 4th round pick that was Max Crosby. I would hold on to him. I would hold on to him. I would pay him. I understand his frustration. I will say it's a bad year for player podcasts. I don't know that the player podcast trend needs to go on anymore.
Stop that shit, man.
Just shut up. Because if you talk, I know this for a thing. If you talk long enough, you will contradict yourself or piss somebody off. If you just talk long enough, and these guys are hopping on microphones minutes after the game, right? And these guys are emotional guys. I mean, crying after a knee injury. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff that was happening with these Micah Parsons crying after games and stuff, and they're all podcasting. Stop it. Stop that. Okay. Content is done. That's for retired football players and guys like us who are not playing NFL. Sorry, we are the ones that should.
I'm not playing on Sunday.
Yeah. I got nothing. So the player podcast stuff. See ya.
Yeah, the NBA started that shit.
It's a really annoying. I like Crosby's show. It's not that. It's just, and I don't think it's getting in the way of what he's doing. It's just, I don't want to hear these guys' opinions and like they're straight off of a loss or straight off a surgery, season-ending surgery where you can't play anymore and you're not getting any guaranteed money. It's like, what is that guy going to do? Put on the business company line? Nobody listens to that. If all he's saying is, I love my squad. Yeah. Like nobody listens to that. People listen when you give them a little clip like that. So it's like these people are in the content business. Meanwhile, fans get worked up over it, and they get worked up over it for real because they're like, well, on his podcast, he said this. And then it's like, oh, man, I just wish these guys didn't have the podcast.
Yeah. What is the podcast winning ratio? What is their winning record?
I don't know, but
Stroud's the record. Yes.
Yeah, Stroud's bad. Stroud's having a terrible year. Micah Parsons. I mean, he's been hurt. He's been hurt. He's been hurt.
Debo Samuel.
Debo's pot. Yeah, Debo. The Kelce's are really the only ones that are good. But Jason Kelce's retired.
Yeah, but Travis Kelce has never watched film, so that's the thing. He goes out there and does what the fuck he wants.
Yeah,
so.
and he's old.
And him and Mahomes know what to do, right?
Yeah,
so,
he's old though too. Like I get it when you're like 37.
Yeah.
Probably
And he's already in the Hall of Fame. Like, he's a Hall of
you're
Famer.
already a Hall of Famer. These guys are like prime career guys. Like CJ Stroud, Parsons, Crosby. These guys are all under 30 years old. Like, I understand players aren't machines. They're not just gonna, grind film. Some of them, half the time they're playing Xbox if they're not podcasting and stuff. I get that, but it just is a bad look. And all it is just outrage. And the damn media, all they do is recycle clips from them. You watch First Take and it's just player podcast clips. And like, so it's like the news sucks now because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some of these questions, man. We talked about Crosby for a long time here. What are your thoughts on getting BPA, then Milroe or Dylan G?
Dylan G. I still like Milroe with the right. That's going to depend on coaching hire. If they hire Todd Monken of the Ravens, I want Jalen Milroe on my team. Let's try it. Let's just try to find Lamar again. Let's do it. But I don't think he is. I just mean, like, that's a good situation for a guy to sit behind somebody for a year, learn the offense, go sign Tyrod Taylor or something. I don't know, just something like that. Just those two guys, and then Gabriel. How tall is he? He looks short.
Yeah, he's short.
Dylan Gabriel doesn't.
He doesn't have a big arm either.
Yeah, Oregon's been doing a pretty good job of developing quarterbacks, but guys have bigger arms in the past than him. I'm not big on Dylan.
And he's left-handed.
What was the other one? Who was the other guy?
From Oregon?
No, there was three guys in that question. I know Milroe. Yes.
He says he's just in Milroe and Dylan G.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Milroe, to me, big, strong arm, can run, obviously, and there have been times like that Georgia game where you saw him playing like high level passing football. That's enough for me to trade back up maybe for my second round pick. But you never know. He might light the combine on fire and he might just be a consensus top 5 pick. You just don't know. That's a guy that could kill the combine.
Yeah, exactly. Next question. If 2 QBs before the Raiders pick, who are the favorite round 2 QBs? Would you rather see them try and sign a free agent if they miss some of the top guys? Well, I mean, they got to decide about signing a free agent before the draft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But if you get the second round, you're in Carson Beck range. So
I don't love the second. To me, it's a guy I like trading back up into the first with my second round pick. You get the 5th year option on a guy. That way you don't have to play him right away. You get that extra 5th year on the rookie deal. It doesn't cost you that much usually. It's not like this, backbreaking price that you have to pay. Second round, it's just like, Jalen Hurts. That's who's coming to mind as his last second round pick that's like balling out in the league.
Yes, second round picks aren't usually.
Derek Carr. I mean, like guys like that are really. It's really all it is. Like that played good football at some point in the league.
Derek Carr is literally a top 5 second round draft.
Yeah. So something about that is like if you're not good enough in the first round, that means you're just not that good usually. Like in terms of like your starting capability, how good you can be. I'm trying to think like second round picks. It doesn't seem like it's there. So I like trading up into the first, finding guys similar to what the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson. Take a blue chip player with your first pick, trade back up for a quarterback in the first round. If that's the way you want to go, I like that more.
Will the Chargers play the starters week 18? I mean, we don't know. I mean,
you never know with Harbaugh. I feel like he's gonna want to play.
I think he will too.
Yeah, it's a division game. Like I could see that. Yeah.
How would you feel if they drafted a QB first round, another one late, all to compete with AOC? I mean, it all depends who it is, I guess.
I mean, if a new coach is coming in, there's no guarantee Aiden O'Connell is these coaches. If it's an offensive coach, they usually have like their guys from their system that they bring in. Like there's just certain people they bring over, guys they trust that can install an offense, and do that. So it might not be Aiden O'Connell like next year. Like in fact, I don't think it will be, to be honest. Like I just don't unless AP is back, which that'll be its own interesting offseason. I would rather. I don't know about compete with him. I don't mind him as a bridge starter. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, ALC, he's just too inconsistent. He's got to be.
Yeah,
if he's more consistent, then he could compete, but he's just too inconsistent. That's his problem. Do you think Shadour's attitude would scare off teams?
I don't. What's the attitude? Like, okay, I get it. I remember the last thing I heard about his attitude. Again, he's another guy with a podcast that's bothering me a little bit, to be honest. But was it when the band he wanted his instead of the fight song play my rap song? That was like the last time I heard any kind of like diva thing from him. Like I feel like he's had a pretty quiet year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
I mean, I guess he had the little after their Nebraska game about the offensive line, but
their offensive line sucks. Yeah,
he is a wide receiver playing quarterback. He has a little diviness to him, but now it's gonna rub some people the wrong way. But it's like I always say, it's not really us that we have to deal with that. He's not gonna bother us. He's just gonna answer.
Well, I'll say this: if you have a losing season or a tough rookie year, how do you bounce back from that? And so that's what I always worry about with the diva guys is, okay, you had a bad year and it's on you to get better.
I mean, they went 4-8 at Colorado.
Right. But that was when they were yapping. So like that was when Colorado was just receipts. We're keeping receipts, like, just stacking up for next year, which, hey, to be fair, they had a better year the next year. I just mean that was, to me, in the NFL, it's different. He's already going to have that target on his back. Does he have rabbit ears? Because at Colorado, it's still like, that's not really a top university. And look at what they've done there. They've done well. If he has a tough time in the NFL is kind of a level playing field. The NFL, if you're having a tough time early, do you have like rabbit ears where you respond into Tom Pelissero? I didn't say this, Tom. Like just doing all that. I don't want to see any of that. But that's just this younger generation, though. I don't even know if it's just Shedeur. Like a lot of these guys are like this. Is Cam Ward? Cam Ward might be like that. I don't know.
Yeah. We can talk about AP a little bit. A lot of reports that AP is done and Brady's going to help pick the next coach. Can the Raiders land a premier coaching candidate, or does it have a job have too much baggage?
That's a tough call. It's I don't think he's back. Weeks ago I had said maybe he was. A lot of fans were nervous on top of the draft sliding last week by winning. They were like, well, AP might keep his job now. I'm like, nobody's job is decided on whether you beat Mac Jones or not after losing 10 straight. Like, it's decided or it's not. He's either safe. I think the decision has been made right now, whatever it is. If he's back, he's back. It's not, can you beat Spencer Rattler and Mac Jones to save your job? Like on some like Squid Game thing or something. Like it's not, you're not, that's not what this is. But the job, I do struggle with whether it's an attractive job or not. Because for one, I think they're going to have to go the more unproven route, which I'm okay with. Raiders have had a lot of retreads, and then AP was kind of this folk hero that just didn't work out. But they might have to go the unproven route. I don't know that it's attractive to, like, Pete Carroll wants to get back into coaching. I'm not sure I even want him, but he wants to get back in. Vrabel, we'll see. I think Brady's going to try with Vrabel. I think I think he's going to want him in there. But Brady's also been calling games all year. And Brady, people are like, oh, Patriots or Tampa. That's who he's going to bring in. Patriots or Tampa. Maybe. But Brady's been calling games from the all-22 angle going like, I like what these guys are doing down here.
Yeah.
So there might just be somebody that's wowed him. Joe Brady. Did you see here when the Rams played the Bills, that 46-44 game? Brady was losing his voice. Like he was just out of control, like out of his mind. I wouldn't be surprised if it was somebody from one of those two staffs.
Yeah, as I said, it could be the Bills. It could be anybody. I mean, I see Mike LaFleur as head coach. I mean, I don't know about Mike LaFleur.
Yeah,
Kirby Smart. I mean,
there's always one bad one in every family. Indiana's offensive coordinator's name is Mike Shanahan.
Yeah,
their offense sucks.
Is he a Shanahan kid? Is he really?
I mean, his name is Mike Shanahan. Unless his dad's just a big fan with the same last name.
I was like, oh shit.
The offense. I'm like, is that Junior?
Is that Mike Shanahan Jr.?
That's what I was wondering. No, I didn't know because when I was watching the game, I was like, man, they're running like they're running like halfback draws on like 2nd and 12. Like I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, the Indiana coach is hilarious, talking all that shit and then like being a pussy.
Whatever.
While playing the game.
Yeah, whatever.
Pussy ass, man. Do you have any way you could develop a quarterback? I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, I think quarterbacks can develop themselves these days. I don't want to hear about that.
It's so much more. It's so much more about chess pieces You know, can you get them the franchise? Can you get them an offensive line that plays together for their rookie contract, more or less? Play calling does matter, but you watch Caleb Williams, it's a little bit of both. And Bears fans don't want to admit it yet, but like he's just as ass as the Bears are right now. Right now. Nobody, you know, his future's not, he's just, they blitz him, he has no idea what to do. And you're going to have to, I think experience is going to matter. Some of these, I think teams are going to go, now that Bo Nix has come in the league, though the league loves Bo Nix. Yeah. The league loves him. Coaches cannot get enough of him. That these older 25-year-old quarterbacks, they're going to get drafted a lot more now. I think coaches are going to love this kind of like, people said the other way, like people thought that was going to make them slide in the past, but if Penix goes out there and tears up Washington this week, these older kind of transfer COVID year guys, they're going to start becoming a lot more desirable.
He played pretty well last week, man. He didn't play that bad.
He did. He didn't have to do a lot. You know, it was kind of,
he's playing Drew Lock, but
he's playing Drew Lock, Bijan Robinson, and you have 2 pick sixes, and you know he's got a big arm. He was able to make some big throws. This week is the big game for him. If he comes out there and looks good this week, hey, you're going to start seeing these guys go a little bit higher. That I think leagues are going to value, because again, these guys maybe don't have the ceiling, and who knows, maybe they do, but they might not have that developmental ceiling. But like if they come in the league and they can run a competent offense right off the bat, a lot of teams are going to pick these guys, because it sucks when they don't know how to do that and everything has to be off schedule.
All right, a couple more questions. It was get to some of these other topics. Here we go. We talked about back scratching like 25 minutes. How do you guys feel about taking Genty?
I'm good. Yeah. First round? No. That's not how you fix the run game. It's not how you fix the run. Dude, have you seen the depth of this draft at running back?
I know. I've seen it, but
dude, none of those guys are Genty. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I watched Devin Neal against Colorado, and I was like, if that's available in round 2, sign me up. Judkins from Ohio State, I love him. Henderson as well, I like him a lot too. Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State. There's a lot of really good running backs. I think they're going to have to draft 2 this year, in my opinion, or at least 1. And the veteran running back market is not good this year. I was looking at free agents. It's just really not great. I think they're going to have to draft 2 guys this year. And to me, like Genty, it's like, look, Bijan looks good right now. Did Bijan change the game for the Falcons? Not really. No. And Genty, it's like, look, okay, he could prove me wrong. They have a huge game coming up. If he just goes out there and is just LaDainian Tomlinson, you know, dude, you're running on Hawaii doesn't really make me draft you in the first round. Like running on, you know, like these other teams, you know, he's ran against Oregon. He had a good game against Oregon, but you know, I've seen some games where he's just bottled up, and then 2 huge runs, and it's against a conference opponent, and their conference isn't that good. So I'm kind of like, okay, nothing against him as a player. He will benefit from slipping in the first round. He will benefit to go to a team drafting in the 20s. He would benefit to go to the Buffalo Bills or something. Like that would benefit him to do that. But if he gets drafted to the Dallas Cowboys, yeah, he might go off and have some huge highlights. But if he goes to the Raiders and their offensive line, I mean, fix the run scheme, man. Fix the run scheme and add some O-line or whatever. That's how you fix your run game. You don't just insert some Boise running back and just, it's fixed.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. My dude gave us a little money, so we'll answer this question and we move on. Are you worried about rolling with O'Connell? I mean,
he's better than Spencer. I think he's better than Spencer
Rattler.
He's better
than Spencer Rattler.
Tell you that much. He's better than Spencer Rattler. He might be better than Taylor Heineke if he plays Taylor Heineke week 18. I mean, I'm a little worried, but at this point, dude, like, you can't ask this guy. This guy's fighting for his life to stay in football. You can't, Aiden O'Connell, we won. I hate you. He's like, damn, man, I won finally. You know, like he plays pretty good. He makes accurate throws, I think, for the most part. So yeah, I am a little worried in terms of draft position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's better than Spencer Rattler. You know. And who knows? And that's the thing. That's somebody said that, you know, how could O'Connell be consistent? This person asked how long be consistent without everything around him being consistent. The thing is that O'Connell might come out this week and throw 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
He could. That's the type of player he is. He just come out and he's like, and everybody's like, we should roll with him. That's what type of player he is. And then week 18, he might throw 3 interceptions. That's who he is. And that's why I talk about consistency, because literally he could go out this week and he could just ball. And we're like, oh my God. And he's just, he's avoiding things. He's such a weird player to me. He's so weird.
Yeah.
He's either really bad or really good. Sometimes I just want you to be like good consistently. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. What else we got here? So let me get all these questions. But we were talking about AP getting fired, but I guess we get to that real quick because he has these over unders. What do you think about AP moving on?
Like I said, I think his fate is sealed one way or another, right? Like I don't think these last games matter because they're not moving the needle. Last year they were at least in contention for a playoff spot by the Colts game, so there was this kind of faux run that they were going on. Right now you're bad. So I think you cannot put that 10. You can either the front office is either not blaming him for the 10-game losing streak, or you're fired because of the 10-game losing streak. Whatever happens after that, I don't think is really gonna make or break his coaching job. It's just, I'm sorry, Spencer Rattler, Mac Jones, and Taylor Heineke might be the 3 players you play. Now, the thing is I think Brady getting in there, it matters.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to crown him, this czar of knowing all football. It could go as bad as it, in many ways, as it could go good. But I don't think I don't think he wants to keep Antonio Pierce. I don't think Antonio Pierce is making that much money either. I can't imagine that Mark Davis shelled out a bunch of money for Antonio Pierce. I really don't. So I don't really think Pierce just doesn't look like he's a guy that has a job right now. Like he already looks like he got told something. A little bit. You see him, he looks a little weary and tired. I mean, maybe from that picture somebody took of him that one time where he was at like 2:30 a.m. I don't know if that was real or not, but coach, what's going on there?
Yeah. I just don't think he survives. And I think that the Raiders are gonna get a little backlash for it. That's what I think too. The Raiders are gonna get some backlash for it. They don't have no consistency, stability. And the thing is, why I think they should move on from AP, and I made this case on the instant reaction to Matt, is that we basically are still the Patriots staff.
Yes, they have this. It's weird. People keep going like you hear 2 things from people. They'll go, rebuilding. How long is the rebuild going to take? I'm like, they don't rebuild. That's the problem. They don't rebuild. They keep the vestiges of all these old regimes that come in. They like keep these guys around. Like you said, you have all these McDaniel staffers here. Like they have had since 2021. They've had a lot of the same staff in there. Post 2021, I should say. To me, a lot of people want to keep the Turners. Sorry, they couldn't figure out the run game. They're gone too. I don't need to keep the Turners. Patrick Graham, I don't necessarily blame him, but is it enough to keep him? He's not getting head coach interviews this offseason. So I don't know. I think AP's gone as a betting man. And I think they're just gonna have to bite the bullet. Sorry, Mark Davis.
Yeah,
you're just gonna have to hire a new coaching staff again.
Yeah,
get it right this time.
Yeah. I think they need a full rebuild of this coaching staff, because, like I said, when you hire the interim, you are literally hiring a guy that Josh McDaniels hired.
Right, and they're gonna keep the guys, and they're gonna keep the guys that are with them. People are mentioning Rob Leonard. Rob Leonard's an interesting choice for a next defensive coordinator. Is all I'm gonna say. I think he's done a really nice job. The defensive line coach. For like defensive coordinator. No, the Rob Leonard coaching the D line. I think he's been the most impressive coach on the coaching staff right now. Like just in general, position coach. Like the D line has had more injuries than any other position group besides secondary, maybe, and he still manages to have some disruption there. Caleb Von Chason comes in here and looks like he's a first-round pick again. Rob Leonard's a guy I want to maybe have another interview with, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel you. Somebody asked why did Tennessee fire Vrabel? Because he didn't have control. He lost control. So, and he was making a big deal about it. So they picked the GM over him.
Yeah, and Tannehill was at the end too. So a lot of times coaches are casualties of their quarterbacks. Tannehill was done. Vrabel's done.
Yeah, that's the thing. So with Vrabel too, who does he pick off as coordinator? We all talk about Vrabel, but
Yeah.
it was Todd Downing, and he had Arthur Smith, right?
Yeah.
But it was Todd Downing, and then I don't know who the other guy was. Because I know he didn't have Downing his last year. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think Vrabel's like a for sure thing. Because even when you look at the Titans, like I know the Titans had some good years when they had Arthur Smith, right? And I think that's a big thing the Raiders fans stick out. But they're pretty mediocre all the time. And you can say maybe they didn't have a quarterback, but that's what I'm saying. That's what happens when you have a defensive coach. Does he care about quarterbacks at all? Right.
I know. And that's kind of my problem is I'd rather what they haven't done since like Lane Kiffin, which I'm not saying that's a great hire or anything, is hire the young offensive mind. I'd like to try that again. Just that seems to reward. I mean, even you look at a guy like Dave Canales right now. Carolina's record's not that good, but I don't think anybody's watching their team going, man, this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly.
Like you're watching him, you're like, okay, he fixed Geno Smith, he fixed Baker Mayfield, and fixed Bryce Young, in my opinion. I think it's fair to say at least made them palatable, watchable players. Find guys like that. I like it. I like Wes Phillips right now. Like I want whatever's I want something from that Vikings organization because whatever they're doing over there is crazy. People are talking about they're fraudulent and stuff. Dude, they shouldn't be good at all when you watch their roster, besides the wide receiver core, their roster is like, they're missing Darisaw right now. Brian O'Neill just went out. They have a lot of these guys. Like Wes Phillips comes from good coaching pedigree from the defensive side, but he's learning under Kevin O'Connell. To me, I want to take a look at Wes Phillips in the offseason. Him or Liam Cohen. Those are the guys I'm thinking about.
Wes Phillips is with Sean McVay right now?
No, Wes Phillips is Minnesota's offensive coordinator. Again, he's not calling plays, so that is a thing.
You didn't Kevin O'Connell.
Exactly. Kevin O'Connell was nothing. Like people we're just like, oh, a Vikings hire Kevin O'Connell. It was like a blurb on the NFL bottom line. They didn't say anything about it. He coached with Sean McVay. Who cares? This guy is Josh Dobbs, Sam Darnold. That's the coaches I want. I don't need a savior, my quarterbacks to come in and be a savior. I want to be able to win with veteran, kind of pretty good veterans. That's what I want. I want that's when you have a good coach. And I'm not saying Wes Phillips is this guy, he's the next guy, but that's what you do. McVay, I want something that
is he a drunk?
He got a DUI in Minnesota, which what, you can't coach if you're drunk? That's news to me. You're telling me for the first time you can't coach if you're drunk? Whoa.
Oh man.
They're not players. I don't care. Yeah. What? Dude, you know how many coaches are straight alcoholics, dude? I used to read this. There was a book I read about baseball coaches, dude. When there would be extra innings, the guys would get the shakes because they'd be like, I need to hit that bottle that's in the clubhouse right now. These dudes get faded. Whatever, dude. Yeah. He has several DUIs. Okay.
So he's a full lot.
So he should be cheap.
That would be alternate Raiders or they hire Wes Phillips, and then right before the season he gets a DUI in Vegas.
What? Hey, first off, you just can't have a Ruggs DUI. Second off, you gotta then the next man up. You got Wes Phillips, his staff. I want the staff. I want all these guys.
That'd be the ultimate Raiders. That's so Raiders is hiring a coach and right before training camp, that July part where nobody's doing anything.
Yeah, I'll put it. No, you know what you do is you just like you said, chauffeur him around. Just be like, Wes, we got you. You don't need to drive anywhere. Tyree Wilson will drive you around. I don't know. I'm not trying to hate. Yeah. Just somebody will drive you around everywhere. No, I just mean that route, not necessarily him. That route, just this guy. That's just the way the NFL works now. Guys call plays, or it's not even about calling plays. It's about Sam Darnold looks like literally. He looks night and day more confident out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just high sack rate is the thing, but he looks confident. And yes, having the receivers helps, but the Raiders have some good weapons to throw too.
They do.
And they're gonna have some money to go bring in some more. And if let's say you bring in a Wes Phillips and then draft McMillan, with your one of your top picks or something, then you have McMillan, Bowers, Myers, Tucker. You're like, whoa, this is all of a sudden that's tight. You know, like all of a sudden you have like something cooking there, and that's what fixes things quick.
Yeah, it's just funny. What's Phillips? All right, let's get some questions. Then we get to the over-unders. So let's look at some of these questions. I don't think we can get McCarthy. I'm just gonna ask that question.
I'm good.
We're gonna get Darnold before McCarthy.
Yeah, a lot of Vikings fans and a lot of people just don't think they're going to let Sam Darnold go. I'm like, well, okay, but your coaching staff has to like JJ McCarthy. They picked him 6th overall. Like they have to. Like the Vikings fans just don't think Darnold's going to go. I'm like, well, I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like one of them got to go. So like, I don't know. Darnold's going to get $40 million.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. The Vikings aren't giving him $40 million. So let's start there.
Yeah. Because Addison's going to come up on a contract pretty soon. Addison's balling out. They're going to have to start paying guys on that defense. And you know, to me, you drafted JJ to be Darnold was there as a placeholder, and people are just like, I do not want Sam Darnold. I'm like, okay, 40 million. You're gonna have to just like swallow your pride on like 40 million. 40 million. Gardner Minshew's like 20 million. It's like these guys, like, you know, this is monopoly money for quarterbacks at this point. That's just what it costs. That's what it costs. They get paid too much. It's annoying, but that's what they cost.
I agree. Answer that question. Answer that one. This guy wants us not to change our hairstyles mid-season.
You changed your hair?
Yeah. I got to read that.
That's true. You did cut. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I cut a little bit too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what? So, well, that's true though. They like for me, it's true because I was thinking like their last that my fresh cut was when they beat Cleveland though. So they did beat Cleveland right as I got the cut.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So
I just got mine like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So they have won a game. I'm just saying they
look. I found gray hair in my hair, dude. You want me to come on here with Twin Peaks hair and stuff? Twin Peaks long hair? Nah, dude, not happening.
They're 1-1 with my haircut. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe he's mad that you ruined the tank then. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the games is like the next day on Monday night, which they should have won, but like Desmond Ritter's just absolutely terrible.
That's true.
So,
that's the thing is if Aiden O'Connell plays that game, I'm pretty sure they have 4 wins right now, and then we're talking about like a top 15 pick. This is crazy.
Which is crazy at 4 wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking nuts.
It's just that type of year.
It is, man. Any other questions I missed? Somebody is this Minshew state? I hope they get rid of Minshew. I really do.
Yeah. That's just I don't know. What's the point of keeping him? To do what? He clearly doesn't mentor anybody. It's not like he's just like, yeah, Aiden, this is how you play, man. Or, you know, they draft Shador, says, Shador, man, yeah, this is what you do. No, I can't see it. He seems like just one of those rogue guys that you put out. He should just get more eligibility for college and play at Washington State next year. They should just let him play college football again next year. Let me gamble on him.
Right? Isn't that like that dude from Vanderbilt's like 40, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Cam Rising too, and you know, all these guys, man.
So Obamacare, Jesus, that's right. I ruined the tank. My hair changed. Yeah, I'm the guy.
Thank you, Obamacare, Jesus. Yeah.
We got Donald Trump in here, and we got Obamacare, Jesus.
What's going on, guys?
It's a balance. It's a good balance.
My lord, yeah.
All right, so let's get to over-unders here. So we're talking Raiders over-unders. Because this game here is got to be played, and the Raiders might win.
Legally, it does have.
Yeah, legally, it has to be. They have to play a game this week. I mean, it's 5-10, and we're getting some Spencer Rattler versus Aiden O'Connell. It's gonna be an interesting matchup. I guess I don't know. It would have been more interesting if Derek Carr played. I guess it. I know. I don't know. Like I was imagining if Derek Carr played this week, like the whole talk of this game would be so fucking annoying.
Yeah,
it would have been fucking annoying. So I'm happy about that a little bit. I mean, you gotta thank the higher power for helping us not have to talk about Derek Carr for a whole entire week, because I was not looking forward to this guy.
I kind of forgot about him, to be honest. I saw him. I just forgot he was People just are not talking about Derek Carr one way. Saints fans are kind of sick of him, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr is a goober, so everybody hates him. It's just the thing, you know.
I mean, he just might be a loser, dude. Like you look at that Dubau stat is funny about how both the most losing quarterbacks are both last name Carr. Like it just might be in the family.
Yeah.
I mean, they stay around long enough to make a bunch of money.
He's been fighting his brother's reputation his whole career, though. I mean, that's really what he's been fighting.
It's crazy.
He's been fighting against his brother. I mean, I really think it's why he went second round. Because if you think just like from a talent perspective,
yeah, they're like the righteous gemstones, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. He runs a 4.69. He has a cannon. You know what I mean? He was 11-2 at Fresno State. You know, they won a bunch of games there. They won the Mountain West Championship, and he went in the second round. It's literally because his last name. So he's been fighting that. He's been fighting his brother's shadow his whole career. So it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, it's just, man. Well, yeah, I'm glad. I'd rather have the Aiden O'Connell Spencer Rattler Bowl.
Me too. All right, let's start with Aiden. We'll start with Aiden here. Aiden O'Connell over under pass yards 222 and and a half, pass yards 1.5, pass attempts 32.5, pass completions 20.5. What are you thinking?
Well, they can't run the ball, so I just they're gonna throw the ball. This is how they would have to beat a team, is just by throwing the ball a million times. So, I mean, over on the yards. I'll give them 1 touchdown. I'll give the Saints secondary a little bit of credit. Their defense isn't that bad. They in the secondary, they have some good young talent. And then the Honey Badger owns the Raiders. He always, especially when Carr was there, but like Honey Badger always seems to make some weird play where you forget he exists and then he intercepts somebody. I'll take the over on completions too. Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing the over on yards and pass attempts and completions for the same thing that you talked about, because I don't think they'll be able to run the ball this week. Because Alex Madison, he's awful. And so once Sear McCormick got hurt, I mean, this running game was gone.
Do you play?
And Amir Abdullah's not that bad, but they just don't like to give him the ball a lot. They're not giving Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, I like him. Do you play NCAA football? Like the game, the video game? Do you play?
I haven't played this last one, but I used to.
So whenever they let you play as like just the quarterback, you're like a recruit, and they basically don't want you to run the ball because your running back sucks. Like you hand them the running, it'll be like 3rd and 1, you hand him the running back, and he's just dancing around. He like runs into the guard's back and like runs into place, and that just feels like the Raiders running backs right now.
Yeah, it's just Madison's terrible, man. I hated that. I hated it when they picked him up.
No, I agree.
I hate it now.
So, I agree.
I hate him. He says that the Saints have the worst run defense in the NFL. So did the Panthers week 3. I never forget that. I was like, the Raiders can't run the ball this week. I've given up.
Do they have 4 defensive linemen that can, when they breathe, like fog shows up on a mirror, then they can stop the Raiders run game?
Like I can't forget how bad that Panthers run defense was at that point in time. And I don't know if they're still bad like that, but the Raiders just made them look like superstars. But yeah, with Aiden, they can't run. And you could tell last week they were passing like crazy. They either play action passing or doing whatever. So, I don't expect Aiden to go crazy or anything like that. I'm not expecting that, but I do expect him to, do his thing and make some things happen. So, yeah. And Lord Will just came with the terrible. I mean, I really don't care if they win or not, but man, that's just bad to say.
Yeah, it's tough for me.
It's bad omen. It's bad omen.
Yeah, I don't like watching people fumble. I will say, like, I was kind of on like the tank bandwagon, but like a fumble really makes me mad. I don't know why. Interception is not nearly as bad. Fumble to me is like, okay, beta. Like somebody slapped the ball out of your hand. Like can't stand it.
Yeah,
hold on to the ball.
I agree. Next up, Mr. Brock Bowers.
Wow.
6.5 receiving yards, 67.5, anytime touchdown, plus 160. Thoughts?
Wow. And these are official lines. These are not marked on Sportsbook.
That's not marked.
Taking over on them. I'm not. Brock Bowers has 4 touchdowns this year. I mean, I'm not taking anytime touchdown very much with them. And it's those odds aren't very good for somebody who only has 4 touchdowns. So that's kind of a weird thing where he's the only option on the team. It's kind of like Julio Jones with the Falcons. Like there were many years where Julio Jones did not score touchdowns, but he would go over on all his receiving props, but the anytime touchdown line would be boosted, or it would be as though he's had 15 touchdowns already on the year just because he was so good. I wouldn't take his anytime touchdown. That being said, he might get one. It wouldn't shock me. And in fact, I would love it if he did, but I'll take the over on reception and reception yards. I mean, he's a beast. I mean, the guy's an absolute beast. That OPI was such horseshit. Where he had that nice play in the flat the one they called on Terrace Marshall. Yeah. I hated that one.
That was stupid. Raiders have a lot of dumb penalties. So, but yeah, I'm taking over on the receiving yards and the receptions. Anytime touchdown, I'm with you. I'm not taking that. But Bowers 6.5. I'm going over receiving yards over because I think they're gonna they want him to break the record. They're gonna force feed his ass.
100%. Yeah. He's the reason you pay to see the Raiders play football right now.
Yeah, they're gonna force feed the hell out of him. So it's gonna be the Brock Bowers show, and I mean that's pretty much it there. So let's see here.
I'll put it this way, guys. I will say this right now. I did this last year with Michael Mayer. Maybe this cursed him, so maybe I won't do this. But if Brock Bowers scores a touchdown against the Saints, I will buy a jersey.
All right. There you go, Glen. All right, Glen, we're gonna hold you to it.
I have my Michael Mayer 87 jersey, so I mean he's back, he's playing.
He's playing. He's not playing bad.
No, and it was like this was the year to have your whatever happened. This was the year to do it. So
yeah. Go ahead, take your break, man.
Whatever's happening. Yeah, well, I can't imagine. Well, if it was mental health, I can't imagine playing for the Las Vegas Raiders this year would have helped that.
Somebody said R.P. Bowers. Yeah, Bowers about to have a mental breakdown now.
I mean, the hair's already having a breakdown. It's not going to be.
I think it'll be all right.
His hair is already just his hair's that's his cross to bear is his hair.
Exactly. All right. Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is high. This is high, but I mean,
he plays a lot. He gets a lot of targets.
Yeah, he does. So, what are your thoughts on this? 5.5 receiving yard, 61.5 anytime touchdown plus 205.
And who's going to be covering him? Paulson Adebo? Is that who they have as their top DB there? Patrick Taylor is also there. They have some good corners there. Every time I watch the Saints play ball, I really enjoy watching their secondary play. Dennis Allen, does pretty well with his defensive guys. I know he's not there anymore, but these were his guys. Yeah. It's weird. Anytime I think Jacoby Myers is going to go under, he like goes off.
Over.
Yeah, and he kind of just hits this line about once a week. I like his anytime touchdown. He's the guy I think gets the touchdown. That's the one I would take more than anything. I'm just going to go ahead and say the plus 205 anytime touchdown.
I'm going to go over on receptions. I'm going to go under on yards. I think he's not going to have any big plays, but he's going to have some receptions. And anytime touchdown, man. I just don't know how many touchdowns are going to be in this game. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, like factor in how many touchdowns are actually going to be in this game. And when I think about that, that's why I don't take his, and I'm going to stick to the running backs probably. So I would stay away from the anytime touchdown, but I think he's going to get some receptions here. I think he get some targets.
Yeah. No, for sure. First off, people think that he automatically is going to want to trade after this year. I tell him no.
Who said that?
Well, I mean, I think it's just people doing the math, right? Like, okay, has 1 year left. He might want to go somewhere. I don't know how old he is, probably about 28 or something like that. 27, 28, around there. He might want to go to a contender. People wouldn't fault him for it, but to be honest, I would extend him. I think he's a good player. And
I like Myers a lot.
For a young quarterback, he's a smart receiver, former quarterback kind of guy, like knows where to sit in his zone. Like to me, if you're bringing in a younger quarterback or even Sam Darnold veteran, I'd like to have Jacoby Myers on this team, like for the next quarterback.
I agree with that for sure. So Myers, and then I had to do a running back, so I did Amir Abdullah.
He's kind of tight, man. I kind of like him.
yeah, that's a high rushing yards though. I didn't make that up.
It is. I like his receiving over. Receiving over might be the bet of the day. 17.5, he can get that on one play.
Yeah, Take the over. Under rushing yards.
Over receiving yards. Anytime touchdown's not bad.
That's what I'm saying. That's the one I would take. Is the anytime touchdown with Amir Abdullah. Because I don't know. I mean, I think he has like 5 this year or something like that, right? He has a good amount.
Yeah, and he's just, I mean, when your quarterback's not that good and it's third down and you don't know what to do on third down, you're going to throw it to him and see what he can do.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think, who really leans on him is O'Connell.
Yeah, for sure. I would too. Like, and to me, like, he'd be a guy like a Brady. Like, he's like one of those Tom Brady style running back. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady was like, yeah, keep this guy.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got that Tom Brady, like that James White kind of, I like him. I'm a big fan. He's a good special teams player. I hope they find a way to keep him.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to see him. Well, he only has 2 touchdowns, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess that's true, but they've come in the last couple of weeks, right? Because he scored against Atlanta, and then I thought he scored last week too.
Yeah, I swear he has some more touchdowns than that.
But yeah, he had that one in Atlanta, that one that made it a 1-score game where he kind of stopped on a dime and just walked in the end zone. So
he has 5. He has 5.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. That sounds correct.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a good player. I mean, he's a good player. Like I really feel like he's going to keep playing in the NFL. I don't know. Maybe the Raiders bring him back. That'd be a question, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But he's a good player. He is. I think he should be getting all the carries right now. For some reason, they don't agree with me. So
yeah,
they want to waste our time. All right, game line. The Raiders are favored in this game.
Yes, they're favored by 1.5. Over under is 38. I like that's weird. I like the over in this game. I actually do. I think the Raiders are going to win this game. They play wild games against the Saints. I mean, I remember there was that one time they got their blown out and they couldn't get across the 50-yard line. There was that game, but otherwise you had that Monday night game, against Drew Brees in 2021, I think it was, or around there. And they seems to be a place where a lot of like weird trickery happens there, and just a lot of loose ball kind of turnover stuff happens. It's kind of strange. I was thinking about, one of the things that scared me about the Carolina game earlier in the year is the Raiders were favored in that game. And the Raiders as favorites are just like not good. I mean, they're not a good team, so it makes sense. But whenever they're favored, it's bad. But they were favored last week and they won. And I think they're going to win this game. No Alvin Kamara is crazy. I mean, you're talking about no Alvin Kamara, no Taysom Hill. Once the Saints lost Taysom Hill, they couldn't do anything in short yardage. And now you lose Alvin Kamara, and that's where the Raiders struggle a lot, is like 3rd and 3 and stuff. And so, you're basically saying it's, I don't know. What can't be correct?
It's minus 102. He's right. It's minus 102. Yeah, I know. That's what he's saying. Because he's talking about the money line. It's minus 102, but that's fine. But whatever.
Oh yeah, who cares? I mean, yeah. That's sure. But I'll say, yeah. No, I knew they were favored this week. I like the over a lot, but I think the Raiders are going to win this game.
Yes. I think they're going to win this game too for some reason. I just, because when it comes to, it's just the Saints aren't good on offense. I mean, Olave's gone.
Yeah.
Who's their best receiver? Foster Moreau?
Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Would it be Jawan Johnson? At tight end.
His wife is really hot. I mean, that's the only thing he's got going for him.
Okay, Johnson. It's good to know. I'll do some all 22 breakdowns of that later. But yeah, that'll be on the guys. Subscribe to the channel. I'll put my little 5-minute breakdown.
You're a deep dive. You're gonna all 22 breakdown.
Yeah. Scroll. Yep. All right. So noted. But other than that, yeah, Foster Moreau. Hey, Foster Moreau. I will say, anytime I see Foster Moreau make a catch, I watch some Saints games. They're on my little game mix and stuff. I like Foster Moreau. Shout out Foster Moreau. Always liked him. Always. They came back from cancer. Yeah.
Exactly. Marcus bringing the real info. I mean, she is, man. She's
the film's been boring this year, Marcus. I guess. Yeah.
I've been doing it with the fakes. Man.
Yeah. Had no idea. Had no clue.
Yeah. All right. Let's see any other questions he got here. Thoughts on Bowers being first team All Pro and not winning Rookie of the Year?
Quarterback award. It's quarterback award, guys. Jaden Daniels is going to win. Hate to break it to you.
I mean, after last week, Jaden Daniels.
Exactly.
Did he do 5 touchdowns last week?
Do you know what the narratives would be if Brock Bowers won over Jaden Daniels? Do you know, especially with the state of that our country's in, do you know what the accusations on First Take with L. Duncan, Ryan Clark, and all of them would say about Brock Bowers winning over Jaden Daniels? It's Jaden Daniels' award. Everyone knows Brock Bowers is the truth. I am on record of saying I love the pick at the time. A lot of you are deleting tweets. He's the man. Just appreciate that he's here. Let's get a quarterback to truly unlock him and make him Travis Kelce level good. Yeah. I mean, he is. I think he is Travis Kelce level good, but let's like win games with him.
Yeah, I agree. Why can't the Raiders keep their talent like the rest of the NFL team who have depth like the Eagles and KC? That's a Tom Telesco question, and that's my problem with Tom Telesco. So,
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I don't know. I liked his draft this year, though. I mean, even people like guys like DeCamerion Richardson, like they're getting their lumps in right now. It's a 4th round corner. We saw Jacorian Bennett struggle last year as a 4th round corner. I'd rather DeCamerion Richardson get his lumps in. I like his physicality at the line of scrimmage and tackling in space here and there. I think they've become a better tackling team in the last few weeks. And I just, I think he's. I can't blame him for his sins with the Chargers right now. People are like, he should be fired because of this. And I'm like, well, you can't really say it about this year, though. Like, you signed Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins is good. Drafted 3 really good players, in my opinion, this year. DeCamerion Richardson, we'll see. Tommy Eichenberg, not looking great at the moment. But after that, it's like, that's a good draft. You found 3 starters in 3 rounds. Like, that's all you can really judge him on right now.
Yeah. Kenny P did some research. He agrees with me.
Yeah. So. Wow. We got our scout. We got our area scout.
Kenny P would write to IG. Let me make sure he see what he's talking about is right. Let's see.
He said my sources have confirmed. Reporting live.
Appreciate you, Kenny, supporting me on that thought. I appreciate that.
I'm an area scout on players' wives' Instagrams, and I can confirm.
Yeah. The WAG 22, as we call it.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Oh man. All right. So let me say some of these other questions. Let's get to these other games here. I'm saying questions here real quick. And then let's get to these last games here. So we got week 17 spread. All right. Broncos, Bengals, Falcons, Commanders, Cards, Rams, Packers, Vikings. Thoughts of Broncos versus Bengals?
So I thought Denver was the underdog in this, if I'm not mistaken. Because
you're probably right about that.
No, and I shouldn't be. That line should be Broncos by 3.5. But I was let me just double check here real fast. I thought that the let's just make sure I have this right. Cincinnati is favored by 3.5 in this game. That's horseshit. Denver's gonna win this game. The Bengals defense is horrible, and Bo Nix is kind of the mean right now of football. If your defense is bad, Bo Nix will shred you. If your defense is good, he will not shred you. He's gonna shred the Bengals, and they have to win this game. The Bengals technically are not out of it yet, so they're gonna play hard. But the over under 50, I like the under in this game. I don't see this being a shootout. I think it's gonna get ugly.
Yeah, I think the Bengals. I think the Bengals win this game.
Interesting.
I do. I think the Bengals win just because, I'm just not a Bo Nix guy, and I'm tired of Bo Nix being just the dick riding for Bo Nix is bothering me.
It is crazy. It is crazy. Right
it's just so high. It comes from like Raiders fans too.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like guys, like his YPA is like 6.2 or something. Like he doesn't throw down like. So I want that hype to end, and also just don't want to see the Chargers and the Broncos in the playoffs. So
I'm with you. Yeah.
So I like Cincinnati to win this game because I think the Bengals are going to fall short.
Yeah.
Because the Broncos play the Chiefs next week, and the Chiefs aren't playing nobody next week. So
I know, and one of those teams is going to play Houston in the playoffs and win. That's the sad part.
I know. But but it's just from a player perspective. Who would you rather see the Bills play, the Broncos or Bengals? The
No,
Bengals,
I
right?
agree. I agree with you in terms of that. Burrow, I mean, you never know. You give Burrow a chance. Burrow's having his best year this year, and it just hasn't. Their defense is so bad. But I just mean like one of those two teams. If I'm gonna be really mad if it's like Chargers or Broncos at Texans for the wild card weekend, because I just know the Texans are not about that life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because the Texans might actually play the Steelers, right? They
I
might
hope so. That's what I mean. I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Because if the Steelers keep losing and losing,
Mm.
they've lost 3 straight, so they're not. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Packers versus Vikings.
Another thing where your spread is correct, but it shouldn't be. The Packers should be favored in this game. I think the I've been a Vikings believer. I hope my buddy Ryan's not watching right now. He does tune into this. He's a big Vikings fan.
Okay.
Nothing against his Vikings. I think the Packers are red hot right now. I will say the Vikings play the run well. So you look at the last time these two teams played. Minnesota goes up like 28-0, but they end up winning by 3. At the end of the game. The Packers are just their defense. They have the number 1 scoring defense in the last like 8 weeks right now. They're playing lights out defense. Edgerrin Cooper has been just unreal as a rookie for them. I think they're going to win this game. The Vikings are on a crazy, I think, 8-game winning streak, but they also haven't really beat anybody that good during that time. They've beaten Seattle, and then I think one other team that's just, whatever. I like the Packers.
Yeah, this one's so tough to me. But I'm gonna go Packers just because I think I don't know. I feel like Josh Jacobs is playing really well, and I think
He
since
really
he's
is.
playing really well,
He really is.
I think they're gonna ride him. I didn't know Jordan Love only had he did miss some games, but I was some Bears fan was trying to say that Kittle is better than Jordan Love, but that was the stupidest shit I ever seen.
They're coping really hard. It's been a rough year for them.
So, but they don't pass a lot, and they're gonna be riding him. So I don't know if they get Jordan Love to pass, maybe it'll be different. But, whew,
yeah, be a good game. Be a damn good game. I'll be seated for it for sure.
Yeah. Falcons, Commanders.
Ooh, yeah. This is gonna be interesting. This is a game I wouldn't bet on personally. Penix is just such an unknown. The Commanders, they got Lattimore now playing DB. They turn the ball over a lot. The Commanders do.
Yeah, they do.
Falcons are not that good, but this could be a weird game that they win. God, that spread is just right there. I wish it was 2.5 because then I could take Commanders.
Well, Lattimore is ruled out for Sunday,
so he's ruled out. That becomes interesting. I'm gonna say the over is gonna be the play here, 46.5, because I think there's gonna be some scoring.
I'm gonna go Commanders just because I think the Falcons have no pass rush.
That's true.
And since they have no pass rush, I think Jaden Daniels got a good game. And and so they play so much zone. It's good. They're not a good fit for Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury's going to screen them to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I like the Falcons. Cards versus Rams for the Rams plan to win the NFC West.
Well, they need a lot of other things to happen. So they can win it here, but then they also need, I think the Bengals need to beat the Broncos. There's all these weird strength of schedule things that need to happen to where they could clinch it. Because so I have the last time these two teams played was week 2, and the Cardinals shit house the Rams like 40-10. Cardinals stink now though. That's the thing. Murray's been pretty bad the last few weeks. He was okay against the Panthers, but other than that, not very good. The Rams, Jared Verse is the defensive rookie of the year. He's been phenomenal for them. Braden Fisk has been pretty good too. They have a really young defense that tackles well and hits hard. I watch a lot of their games. I think the Rams are going to beat the crap out of them, honestly. James Conner's questionable, and James Conner is the Cardinals right now. By the way, can we put Marvin Harrison on mid-watch? I never saw it coming out of college. I was like, I saw good, not elite. I thought Neighbors, Bowers, Brian Thomas
Big
Jr.
10 wide receivers.
They all I mean, you can say that, but Jackson Smith and Jigba's balling right now. Like you can say that. Ohio State typically turns out a pretty good receiving core in the NFL. Marvin Harrison just doesn't move like that. Like, that just in and out of his breaks, like really good. I have him on mid-watch. Like I have him on mid-watch. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I think Neighbors, Bowers, Brian Thomas Jr. all better than him, taken after him.
All right.
So I'm gonna take the Rams to cover.
I'm going Rams too. Just because you told me James Conner is out. I was thinking about maybe the Cardinals.
He's questionable. He is questionable. I'm not saying out. So unless did they rule him out? Unless somebody's saying that in the comments.
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Okay.
All right. College football.
Yeah.
How do you feeling about this? How you feel?
Both our boys, huh? Both our boys going. Okay. Penn State versus Boise State. -11 Penn State. Yeah, I think they're gonna rout Boise State.
You think so?
Yeah, they have the easiest route to the playoff, and I think after the college football playoff is gonna have to realize that you can either have conference championships matter or not. Okay, because Oregon won the Big Ten and has a tougher route to the next. They have to play Ohio State this week. Penn State has had to play SMU and Boise State. So by losing the Big Ten championship. So they're going to have to figure out a way to have conference championships not be this like thing where I'm sorry, Boise State should not be hosting Penn State. And your guys, I don't know, should be hosting Tech. It's weird. It's just kind of weird the way they're doing the conference championship thing. I'm taking Penn State to cover. I'm taking the under. I'm sorry, they're just going to sell out on Genty, and I just don't think Boise State's going to be able to like carve them up. That's a good defense out there. Allers, I imagine Penn State's going to struggle a little bit on offense. I could see them being up like 6-0 early and a couple turnovers, but then they're going to score a defensive touchdown. We saw how SMU looked like a JV team against them last week.
Yeah. I'm going to take Boise to cover because I think Penn State is going to be on offense. They're going to struggle a little bit just because I just don't think they're very good on offense. Just from watching that SMU game, that game should have been like 60 to something, and it was. I don't know. I'm just not impressed with their offense. So I think Boise State covers. And that could be a 10-point. As I'm saying, they could lose 30-20. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like something crazy to cover. So that's why I think they cover. But I don't think they win. They're not good enough to beat them. That'd be shocking. James Franklin should be fired.
Yeah, no, I mean, but again, that's the weird thing with college football playoff. The coaching carousel's already happened, so now everybody's job is safe because who are you gonna hire? You can't replace transfer portal. They're gonna have to fix transfer portal and coaching carousel because right now these teams aren't going to be able to participate in any of that if they want to.
So Ryan Day saved the job, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean you can't. I mean Marcus Freeman just signed an extension, so that's, to me, I've always been scared that Marcus Freeman's going to take the Ohio State job at some point because he's a baller, but he just signed an extension. Thank God.
Okay. All right. Notre Dame versus Georgia. Speaking of Marcus Freeman.
Okay. Here, my heart. I'm just going to give you my heart analysis with it.
Okay.
Carson Beck is being replaced by a guy 4 inches shorter than him at quarterback.
Is Carson Beck not playing?
He's not playing. He's out for the entire playoff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's not playing. So this kid has a good arm that's playing for them. You can move around a little bit.
He's a 4-star recruit. He's a 4-star recruit.
He is. And I also think he's going to put the ball in harm's way a little bit. Notre Dame, this is the best in my lifetime, the best Notre Dame defense that I've seen. But they're missing Riley Mills, who's a beast, defensive tackle. It's a big miss, and they're going to have to stop Georgia's run game, which Georgia has 5 running backs that can run at you. If they can run the ball on Georgia and stop the run against Georgia, they will win this game. Those are 2 huge ifs. My heart says take the boys, but smart money is saying take Georgia. I don't blame anybody that does. It's tough, man. It's tough.
I'm going to take Notre Dame in this one just because I think Notre Dame is better than people think.
They are. No, this is a really good team. This is a bad matchup for them. This is just, in my opinion, I just think they have Jeremiah Love, who I think is probably a top 5 running back in the nation right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a little bit hurt, but I think he's had some time he had an illness and an injury and ran 98 yards and was stiff arming people on against Indiana, which people pretend that's a JV team now. No, that's a Big Ten team that he ran on doing that. And the problem is I think Georgia's just got the horses to stop their run game. And then if Riley Leonard, I saw this tape breakdown of Riley Leonard being this great quarterback. Actually, he's really good. Watch the way he puts 2 hands on the ball and then throws the guy open. I don't want him throwing a lot, and I think that's what Georgia's going to have them do. And man, I'm just scared of him throwing 35 times in this game.
We offended our friend of the show, Rated Trey. He said Georgia's not better than us, and Gunner going ball. So
no, I know. I feel bad. Like trust me, man. Like I'm probably emotionally like go Irish. Like let's go. Like I'm ready to take Notre Dame money line. I don't want to give financial advice to people on this game.
Yeah,
but hey,
I'm gonna say with ASU because I don't even want to talk about that game. Or Ohio State versus Oregon.
The spread is 2.5 Ohio State.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
I like Oregon money line. I do. I think
too.
Oregon's the best team. I mean, they just are. Like I feel like I haven't seen them play in like 3 months, but they don't blow anybody out. But it's a low spread. Ohio State looked dominant against Tennessee, but Tennessee, Coach Lane Kiffin was bumping his gums talking about Notre Dame this, Notre Dame, Indiana that. Shut up. SEC was weak.
You lost to who did he lose to? Like,
lost to Florida. Jackson Dart threw 3 interceptions in the 4th quarter. You could have ended that debate right then and there. And then these guys want to talk about all this stuff. And Tennessee goes out there and lays an egg against Ohio State. Horrible. Gets dominated. Oregon is not the same Oregon. And I don't think people have known this yet. Dan Lanning's come there and brought SEC football, physical football to Oregon. And he's a damn good coach. They hit, they tackle, they run the ball. They're going to win this game.
I think Oregon's going to win this game because I think Dylan Gabriel, even though I don't think he's going to be a NFL quarterback, I think he's a better college quarterback than Will Howard. And I think that's really going to show itself in this game.
Totally.
Yeah, he'll like run for a touchdown. He'll run for like first downs. There's more things to it than what Will Howard could do. Dylan Gabriel could do more.
Yeah,
and that's why I think. And he's more of a veteran. He's been in college football probably like 20 years that I could think of because I remember him playing at UCF. Like,
yeah,
So, yeah. I think that's why I like Oregon's money line. I'm taking Oregon money line all the way.
Me too.
All right, so this is my game here: Texas versus Arizona State.
Oh God!
Give your thoughts, Glenn.
Is there any case to be made for Arizona State to win this game? I want
Not
to.
one.
I will be going for them. The problem is Texas is really good, and I think people I don't think people want to admit it. Like Texas is really good. They run. I was watching them run the ball last week. Their offensive line and just some of their concepts and the way their offensive linemen move in space, and then their running back is I think they have a couple running backs that are good, but they are good. I think it's Blue, right? Alfred Blue's brother. That guy's good, man. And Ewers is going to make a couple big throws deep down the field. Arizona State is this amazing story.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for some Statue of Liberty Boise State upset in this game, like 2000, in at Arizona back in the day. Guy proposes to his girlfriend. Scadaboo runs a Statue of Liberty play or something. I would love it. I'm trying to like imagine it in my head. I can't see it.
me either.
And I could be completely wrong. Maybe the problem is like, say you hit Quinn Ewers and like you light him up and they're like, oh, Ewers is out of the game, man. Arch Manning's going to come in. Like, that's the problem with these college programs. They're so like stacked. And I love Raider legend Dallin Levitt's brother, Sam Levitt for Arizona State. He's mobile and good. It's just, it reminds me of when Notre Dame played Alabama in the national championship a while back, where we all thought there was this folk hero thing to be said, but damn, maybe not.
I just hope they cover. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it to you this way. I think they either win or Texas covers. Like, I don't see there's a way that they lose by like 7 points. I think they either win on a crazy like 3 overtime game, wackiest thing you've ever seen, or Texas wins by 30 points.
Because my fear, what I think was going to happen, I think ASU is going to get up early. Like it's going to be like one of those games where like ASU shocks everybody and they're up like 14-0, and then Arizona's all excited, and then they remember that they're an Arizona team and they lose like 35-14.
We'll see.
It's like 35 unanswered points. After that, it's just like Texas just rolls them. Like Cam Scatterbo fumbles. It's just like it's just one of those games where it's like ASU comes out hot because they got their coach is going to hype. They're going to be ready to play, right?
Yeah,
they're going to come out hype. And I think they're going to surprise Texas a little bit with how good they are. And the Texas is going to regroup. And, well, that's what I think is going to happen. That's my prediction.
I know. I'm kind of like, that's why this whole seeding thing with the playoff is just so strange. Like people are mad about, Indiana playing Notre Dame last week. I go, the real crime is like we have Boise State and Arizona State as double-digit underdogs.
We should play Notre Dame.
That's what I'm saying. Reseed this thing. Like ASU Notre Dame's a great game. I bet. Like it's just I get it. There's no perfect way to do it. I think people think this can be done perfectly. It can't. And I'm just glad that these bowl games mean something now. Like I said, like because of this playoff. These would, Arizona State, if it weren't for that, would be playing a bowl game against somebody where half the starters don't play otherwise. So at least we have that.
All right, let's get some of these questions to get out of here. So how much of the depth issues really on Tom Telesco coaching issues because they should win spending money on coaches? I think you just got to, he didn't spend money on anybody this free agency. I mean, shit.
You have to wonder if he just looked at the quarterback situation and said, "Is this? Do you go to Mark Davis and say, look, we could do two things here. I can get this guy. I can get Stephon Gilmore for a year. I can get all of these guys, or we can view this as a multi-year thing."
Yeah,
and I feel like that's what happened. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Definitely, I agree. Why does it seem like Tyree's on a pitch count?
Jason's balling, dude.
Yeah, that's why.
Jason's balling. I'm not a big fan of Charles Snowden.
They're not playing him inside as much either. Yeah, because do they get Snowden back? I mean, they might, but
I'm not a bit. Doesn't do. I don't know. He doesn't jump off the screen to me. I don't know.
You're talking about DUIs. He ran his car like over like a parking lot. Little I don't know what it's called, but you know what I mean. Using the grass in the parking lot. It was
damn, dude. It's crazy. But yeah, it's just. To me, it's like, Tyree, it's like, Tyree does not stop me from bringing somebody better in. That's where he's at right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I need to get rid of him. He's on a rookie contract. Let's just see. But, like I said, next year with the Max situation, I'll put it to you this way. The Max Crosby situation. What if Tyree was just really good this year?
See, that would change. I mean, that would change everything.
It would change the entire conversation, but he's not. That's the problem. I'm a bit much of an apologist for him as there is. I just mean if Tyree was going out of control, you find Chase on and then you have Kuntz coming back probably next year on a cheaper deal, and then then you realize like maybe I can get 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, or you just decide you want to be just the most loaded defensive end position in the league. I'm just like, man, that's the problem with the Wilson with the Wilson pick. Like I like him more than most fans do, but I can't sit here and say he's good.
Yeah. Why don't we do a different linebacker? Because they're not good. That's why.
Yeah, I really like Harold Perkins at LSU, man. I that's a underrated position that I think they need to draft kind of high next year. It's kind of like in the second, third round. Just like find a good SEC linebacker that likes to hit shit, dude. Like they're just missing that. Like you watch like what Dre Greenlaw does for the 49ers. Find a Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah. Do you know where the Giants fall if they win a game? I don't know. That's a good question.
They have an interesting game this week. They're playing the Colts. Anthony Richardson could have a full meltdown in that game. Now they might not stop. Jonathan Taylor could also run for 300 yards, but that's the duality of what could happen there. But like Anthony Richardson could go like 7 of 20 with like 2 picks and a fumble or something, and the Giants could win that game. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. I don't know if they get along. Let's go. Do Tom Brady and Telesco get along? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Firing your GM is a big commitment. It's kind of like a bit. It's almost even bigger than firing your head coach. Honestly, like it's kind of like, okay, what has Tom Telesco done to be fired as the Raiders GM? Not what you fear will happen because of what happened with the Chargers, but as the Raiders GM, it's pretty tough to say he's done anything to be fired.
Yeah,
I don't know. He didn't draft Tyree Wilson, so if people are mad about Tyree Wilson, he didn't draft him. Yeah. If people are mad about missing on a quarterback, he got Brock Bowers instead. I mean, that's one of the best pivots you could get really in the draft. And this year, I think he's going to get this offseason. I'd be floored if they fired him. Like absolutely shocked.
That'd be the stupidest thing they ever did. He's not gonna do that though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. All right, guys. We are out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. We'll be back. It's almost draft time. We start doing our little draft stuff. We do all the cool draft stuff and all that stuff, and breakdowns. Look at the draft, free agency, and all that shit. You know what I mean? So we're almost at that point, and we got one game left after this, Glenn. We got one game left of this terrible season.
Whew.
So
it has gone fast, though. I will say it has gone fast.
It has. It's been a quick moment. But yeah, hopefully this never happens again, and we never do this again.
Never. Last losing season in franchise history.
yeah, or at least be mediocre. People didn't appreciate the mediocre. This is appreciation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Because
last year this time we're like, if they beat the Colts and then they might make the playoff.
Or mediocre like Darren McFadden laughing beating the Broncos 55-19 or whatever. Like,
you know what
I mean? I miss it bad. Yeah, no, I agree. This is bad, and like I said, it would be better if there was like this, Jaden Daniels style player waiting for them, but there's not. Not at the quarterback position. So that's why I want them to be disciplined. Go get a blue chip player. This team needs more blue chip talent. New Year's resolution for the Raiders: be good. That's what I would say. Good. Again, I would write that. Good. Yeah. Be a good team. Make good decisions. Try to get Kyle Shanahan fired from the 49ers.
Yeah, we got to.
I want them to lose out. The Niner fans are. I'm telling you right now, people hate him, and I don't know why. They hate him.
Niners fans hate him.
They hate Kyle Shanahan. They think he's a bum. And I said, and you look at Kyle Shanahan, he looks like he aged 10 years in the last year. He looks stressed out. And if they fire him, you bring him and Brock Purdy over. Bring Brock Purdy in the dome. I'm telling you. Or Sam Darnold. Honestly, I'd let him cook with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Peace.